When I was 21, I worked night shift as a janitor at a community college in Oregon. It was one of those jobs where no one really talks to you. You just show up at 10 p.m., clock in, clean the empty halls, and go home by morning. I liked the silence. The building was built in the 60s, ugly concrete walls, long fluorescent-lit hallways, and echoey linoleum floors. The kind of place that always feels like winter, no matter what time of year. The college had 5 buildings, but I was usually assigned to Building C, the one that housed mostly unused offices and old classrooms. I rarely saw anyone there, even during the day. Except for one night. It was mid-January. Snow had piled up outside. I remember that because my boots left wet prints on the hallway floors and I had to go back and mop over them. I'd finished the classrooms and was just about to head to the main stairwell when I passed the utility closet halfway down the hall. The door was cracked open. Light was off. But I swore I heard breathing coming from inside. Not mechanical noise. Not the pipes. Breathing. Heavy, slow, wet breathing. I froze and just stared at the crack in the door. The hallway was dead silent. I didn't even want to blink. I waited. Nothing moved. Eventually, I chalked it up to my imagination. I'd had way too much caffeine and barely any sleep. So I shut the closet door and moved on. But from that night forward, I never walked past that closet without hearing something. Sometimes it was breathing. Sometimes whispering. And one night, it was laughter. Low, quiet laughter, right on the other side of the door. I stopped telling people about it. The supervisor laughed it off. The daytime staff said I was just spooking myself. They said no one used that closet. Just old tools and a busted water tank in there. But I started noticing other things too. Trash bags that I had tied shut would be open again. Supplies I left on my cart would go missing. Once, I found a wet footprint right in the middle of the hall. Just one. Barefoot. Human. I was the only one in the building. Then, one night, I came in early. The sun had just gone down. There was still a little bit of daylight outside the hallway windows. I was walking past the utility closet when I saw something that made me stop cold. The closet door was open again. But this time the light was on. And I saw something move inside. Just a shadow. A shape. Like someone crouching. I called out, "Hello." No answer. I stepped closer, slowly, like an idiot, and reached for the door handle. As soon as I touched it, the light went off, Click. Instant darkness. I stumbled back, heart racing. I slammed the door shut and locked it with my master key. Then I went straight to the security office. They checked the footage. I watched it myself. At exactly the moment I touched the door, the camera glitched, static for 5 seconds. When it came back, I was standing frozen in the hallway, staring at the door. They told me the camera system was old. Just bad luck. But I know what I saw. A week later, I quit the job. I couldn't take it anymore. A few months after I left, I got a call from a friend who still worked there. He told me they found something behind the walls during a renovation project, a hidden crawlspace behind the utility closet. Inside, they found a mattress, empty food wrappers, a knife, and a torn security jacket from the 1990s. The weird part? They don't know how anyone could have gotten in. There was no entrance from outside. The space was completely sealed. No doors. No vents. Just a cold, dark room. And a chair. Facing the wall. I walked to the bench and placed the pizza down, like the instructions said. I started to turn back to the car, but stopped. Because I saw footprints in the dirt. Barefoot prints. Leading away from the house. Like someone had walked out the back door, across the clearing, and disappeared into the trees. Only the prints didn't fade. They were fresh. The edges still crisp in the dirt, like they'd just been made. And they were weird. The toes were all the same length. No arch. No real heel mark. Almost like someone had just pressed them into the ground. I stared at them for maybe 10 seconds. And then I heard it. From inside the house. A low, deliberate knock. Not on the front door. On the window. 3 knocks. Slow. Rhythmic. Almost like a signal. I turned toward the window, but the curtains were shut tight. No lights behind them. Just that sound, those 3 dull thuds. I backed up. That's when I saw movement out of the corner of my eye. Something shifted in the tree line. Not a deer. Not an animal. It was too tall. Standing just beyond the last row of trees, facing the house. Not moving. Just watching. I don't know how I saw it, honestly. There was almost no light, but something about it just stood out. Like the darkness around it bent slightly, like it was heavier than the rest of the woods. I blinked, and it was gone. No sound. No leaves crunching. Just, gone. That's when I ran to the car. I jammed the keys in the ignition, threw it into reverse, and peeled out of that clearing, kicking up rocks behind me. My heart was in my throat, and I didn't even breathe until I was halfway back to the main road. I didn't tell Luis what happened when I got back, that I just said they didn't want me to knock. He didn't care. Closed the till and sent me home. Later that night, after showering and trying to convince myself I imagined it, I checked the delivery log again on my phone. I wanted to see the order details. Sometimes you could see the last 4 digits of the card used. But the order was gone. No trace of it in the system. Like it had never been placed. I called Mello's the next day and asked Luis to check the paper receipts. He said there was no order to that address. Nothing from Dresser Lane. Nothing with pepperoni and onion. I even tried driving back out there a week later, during the day. There was no gravel road. No driveway. Just a locked gate with a rusted, "No trespassing" sign and what looked like an abandoned lot beyond it. No house. Just trees. That was the last delivery I ever made for Mello's Pizza. I quit that weekend. To this day, I don't know what I saw in those trees. I don't know who, or what, placed that order. But I have this lingering fear in my gut that whatever was behind that window wasn't waiting for pizza. And sometimes I still dream about those footprints. All 5 toes the same size. Like they were never meant to belong to a person.